top stories tonight. Nigeria Super Eagles winger Ademola Lookman emerges 2024 African Men's Footballer of the Year. Federal Executive Council approves 47 trillion naira 2025 budget as President Tinubu's presentation to National Assembly is rescheduled for Wednesday. EFCC bust online fraud network in Lagos, arrests over 700 suspects, including foreigners. And Kenyan doctors to strike over unfulfilled government promises. Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. Let's begin by telling you that the Federal Executive Council has approved a 47.9 trillion naira budget proposal to be presented to the National Assembly for approval. The Federal Executive Council, during its final meeting for the year 2024, also approved free train rides for citizens from December the 20th this year as part of the federal government's support for citizens traveling for the Christmas and New Year festivities. Amadine Uyi has more.
In attendance were cabinet ministers. The meeting, the last for the year 2024, is expected to commence its recess for members from December the 18th to January the 6th, 2025. Following deliberations at the meeting, the Minister of Information and National Orientation informed newsmen of President Tinubu's approval for free train services for citizens nationwide.
Government is also happy to announce that, as we did last year, there will be free train service to all Nigerians from the 20th up until the 5th of January. Free train service nationwide.
Also, the Minister of Education gave details of the Council's approval for the change of name for the University of Abuja.
At the Federal Executive Council meeting, Mr. President, President Bola Tinubu graciously moved a motion for FEC approval for the renaming of University of Abuja to Yakubu Gowon University, Abuja. This was Mr. President's motion, and this was moved in recognition of General Yakubu Gowon contribution to the stability of our country in upholding our federalism.
One of the core highlights of the meeting was the approval of a 47.9 trillion naira 2025 budget for the nation and upgrade of several electricity substations as part of the Siemens electricity project.
The 2025 framework is based on a benchmark, oil price benchmark of $75 per barrel, oil production of 2.06 million barrels per day, exchange rate of 1,400 naira.
This budget is based on government spending in critical areas, but also, more importantly, encouraging and making room for private sector investment.
The Executive Council meeting held this afternoon. There were basically two approvals for the Federal Ministry of Power as presented. The first was actually an approval for the award of contracts for engineering, procurement, construction and financing for the implementation of the 330, 132 kV and 132.3 kV substations upgrade under the phase 1 of the Presidential Power Initiative, popularly known as the Siemens contract.
The 2025 budget proposal is based on an oil price benchmark of $75 per barrel at 2.06 million barrels per day and 1,400 naira per dollar. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu's presentation of the 47.9 trillion naira 2025 budget proposal to the joint session of the National Assembly, initially scheduled for Tuesday, 17th December, has been postponed to Wednesday, December 18th. According to Senate sources, the rescheduling was confirmed by a senior management official of the National Assembly. We also understand that an official statement regarding the postponement is expected shortly. The proposed budget is part of the 2025-2027 medium-term expenditure framework approved by the Federal Executive Council last month. The framework includes plans for 9.22 trillion naira in new borrowing to address the budget deficit. It also sets an oil price benchmark of $75 per barrel, a daily production target of 2.06 million barrels, and an exchange rate of 1,400 naira to the dollar. Away from that, Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has directed an investigation into the deaths of Okuama leaders James Ogboroko and Dennis Okubaye while in army custody. The two, detained during a military operation in August, reportedly died 6 days apart. The operation followed the killing of 17 soldiers on a peace mission between Okuama and Okoloba communities in March. Brigadier General Toko Gusau, Director of Defense Information, confirmed the probe, stating that the Nigerian Army's 6th Division must submit findings by Monday. Gusau emphasized that the military remains committed to uncovering the truth, adding that for now, the reports are mere allegations. Let's turn our attention to the courts. A senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, and a partner at Afe Babalola law firm, Olu Daramola, has filed a 500 million naira suit at the Ojodu Abiodun Division of Ogun State High Court against Dele Farotimi for alleged defamation in his new book titled Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System. The suit was filed barely a month after the one filed by Afe Babalola, SAN, over similar and alleged defamatory words in the book. The right, dated December 13, 2024, was taken on behalf of the applicant by Ihanichuku Siwa on behalf of Daramola. The claimant is seeking a declaration that the book authored by the defendant and in circulation within and outside the country and within the jurisdiction of the court contains some defamatory words on page 64. Let's get some perspective from the legal standpoint on these cases. We're joined by legal practitioner Tunji Abdulhamid. Tunji, always a pleasure to have you on the news. So barely a month after the one filed by SAN Babalola, we now have this one. No date has yet been fixed for hearing though, but I'd like you to explain for us, how does this really work? Will both cases run concurrently? And can more persons who feel defamed join the suit?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Felicity. I think this one filed by Chief Afe Babalola and the other two filed by lawyers from the two SANs, the one from Ibadan, the one other state, I can't remember the names now, and the one just filed by Mr. Oludara Mola SAN are separate suits, and that they can be determined differently. In fact, if more people feel that they've been defamed, they can also file their own. They don't have to join the one filed by these people. Since these are separate claims, and they have the right to file it in the different courts.
All right, we know that Daramola, like Babalola, is seeking a court order to compel the defendant to publish an unreserved apology in widely circulated a national newspaper to retract some of those excerpts in the book. Is there a similar precedent that might impact judgment in this matter?
Yeah, I am aware of another court already regarding the fact that all the books already in circulation should be withdrawn. I think I have my sufficient regarding that because it's a principle of law that order will not be binding on anybody. In fact, if I have the book, nobody can come and say you are infringing on court order because I wasn't the party to the suit. I am not bound by the order of the court. The order should be directed at Dele Farotimi to direct his producers not to sell the book again. Not for me. If I have the book in my custody, I can't be charged for content. There's no way I can be charged for content because I am not a party to the suit, and I cannot be bound by the order of the court. So the order regarding no one is permitted to sell the book, no one is permitted to hold the book or whatever, I think is infringed as far as I'm concerned, with due respect to the courts, because it's a well-known principle of law that when you are not a party to a suit, you cannot be bound by the order of the court, and you cannot benefit from that order of the court if you are not a party in that suit. So that order only binds people who are party to the suit. And who is a party here? Only Dele Farotimi is a party to the suit. Even those who are the publishers, they can challenge it. They cannot be bound by that order because they are not part of the case in court. So I see that order as a mere effort in futility with due respect to the courts. They have the right to do that. To direct Dele Farotimi to ask his publishers or other people not to sell the book again, not for them to direct those people directly to say, look, stop selling, stop doing this, stop doing that. I see that order as not properly given.
All right, I actually was going to ask you to address that, really, the feasibility of it to retract all those books. But now I would want you to speak on the request for a widely published apology, you know, against about the defamatory words in the book. I'm trying to get to your perspective on if there is a precedence where an apology was widely circulated in similar circumstances, and how might that, if it is available, impact judgment?
Yeah, there are so many precedents because in defamatory suits, one of the reliefs are usually either monetary demands or apologies. So if you are asking for apology and it's granted, that means you'll be asked to do it in a particular form, and then you have to do it that way. So it's not abnormal; it's normal thing for you to do. In fact, sometimes when you render that apology, even before the other party may not even go to court to challenge you, he may even waive his right to claim any damages against you. It's normal in a defamatory suit, and it's common for almost all defamatory suits for them to ask for apology. That will only be granted when it has been established that you have truly defamed that person, or when you on your own believe that, or you want to say, look, I have agreed that my comment or my word or statement or whatever I have done amounts to defamatory statements. Then you can also render apology to close the case if the other party agrees without monetary compensation.
I guess I'll hold the rest of my question for when the court rules. For now, thank you very much, Tunji, for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
All right. The Supreme Court in Abuja has dismissed the suit by former presidential candidate Ambrose Owuru of the Hope Democratic Party, fining him 5 million naira for filing a frivolous case against President Bola Tinubu. Justice Wani Abaji condemned Owuru's claims as vexatious and barred the court registry from accepting further frivolous filings from him. Owuru, who sought Tinubu's removal, alleging non-qualification and usurpation of office. The court criticized Owuru's conduct, rejecting his arguments as unconvincing. It also noted a previous 40 million naira fine imposed by the Court of Appeal on Owuru for similar actions. This latest ruling reinforces the judiciary's stance against baseless legal harassment. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has achieved a significant milestone by arresting 792 suspects linked to cryptocurrency investment fraud and romance scams. Speaking at a press briefing on Monday at the Commission's Lagos office, EFCC Director of Public Affairs, Wilson Owujare, said the suspects were apprehended during a surprise operation conducted on Tuesday, December 10. The raid targeted a hideout in Victoria Island, Lagos. Owujare said the operation followed months of surveillance and actionable intelligence on the syndicate's activities. Among the suspects arrested were 148 Chinese nationals, 40 Filipinos, 2 individuals from Kazakhstan, 1 Pakistani, and 1 Indonesian. The EFCC added that Nigerian accomplices were recruited by foreign masterminds to execute fixing schemes targeting unsuspecting victims across the US, Canada, Mexico, and several European countries. In the meantime, the Police Service Commission on Monday approved the promotion of 27 senior police officers, including 11 commissioners of police elevated to the rank of Assistant Inspector General and 16 deputy commissioners of police promoted to substantive commissioners of police. The newly promoted officers appeared at the Commission's corporate headquarters on Monday, December 16, where they underwent both written and oral examinations as part of the selection process. PSC Chairman, retired DIG Hashimu Agungu, announced that written and oral assessments would henceforth be mandatory for promotions across all ranks in the Nigerian police force. Coming up, Nigeria's inflation rate rises to 34.60% in November 2024. We will bring you the details after the break. Do join us again. If you've just joined us, you're watching Tonight. A reminder of our top stories. Nigeria's Super Eagles winger Ademola Lookman emerges 2024 African Men's Footballer of the Year. Federal Executive Council approves 47 trillion naira 2025 budget as President Tinubu's presentation to National Assembly is rescheduled for Wednesday. EFCC bust online fraud network in Lagos. Arrest over 700 suspects, including foreigners. And Kenyan doctors to strike over unfulfilled government promises. Nigeria's headline inflation rate rose to 34.60% in November 2024, up from 33.88% in October, marking the third consecutive month of rising inflation, according to data released by the National Statistics Agency. Month on month, the inflation rate stood at 2.64%, underscoring ongoing price surges across goods and services. After easing briefly in July and August, inflation resumed its upward trajectory in September, driven by the lingering effects of the naira devaluation and successive petrol price hikes. These factors have intensified the country's worst cost of living crisis in decades, exacerbating hardships in Africa's most populous nation. In response, the Central Bank of Nigeria has implemented 6 interest rate hikes this year, totaling 875 basis points in a bid to rein in inflationary pressures. To help us make sense of this, we're joined by economist Aki Fatunke. Aki, thank you for joining us. What are the key drivers behind this persistent rise in Nigeria's inflation rate? And how do structural issues in the economy exacerbate these pressures?
It's become like a juju, okay, like some voodoo. But basically, the key drivers are the rising FX rates, the disruption in the supply chain, essentially increase in transport costs. Now, the real chunk of this will be the food inflation. The rate is gone off the roofs and close to about 41%. For the past 5-6 months, this has been rising consistently. Fortunately and unfortunately, the attempt by CBN, to try and rein in the inflation simply has not yielded fruits because of this structural misalignment, which says that these issues of FX instability, the supply chain disruption occasioned by, if not floods, security issues, and of course, transportation costs that continues to go like some other kind of yo-yo. So we keep trying at it, but until we are able to address frontally these structural issues, we'll still have to do a marathon and not a sprint.
All right, for Nigerians who might be curious about this, I know I am, would it have been worse if the Central Bank of Nigeria hadn't implemented some of the measures that they have?
Well, it could have been. Again, under normal circumstances, and ceteris paribus, like we economists put it, when the benchmark interest rates is risen, you expect that inflation will be tamed. Yeah, and it's not being tamed. The cost of borrowing still goes high. It's taking and driving businesses out of function. It still has to be done. There are necessary pills, in my view, that has to be applied. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble. The other fundamentals, especially when we are looking at food inflation, to the extent that we are still not winning the war against terror, okay, and farmers not being able to get access to farms without disruption. And of course, the almighty transport costs that is gone off the roof. If we are able to tackle this both at the federal and more at the subnational levels, we may, in my opinion, get in there. I think CBN, in consonance to see that money supply is controlled, recently issued a circular to talk about our mint notes not to be in illegal hands, all working together. But you see, the economy is still not jacking up. It's not jacking up to the kind of revenue that we expect, even from non-oil sources.
Okay. In the short term, the president, one of the short-term measures was to help alleviate transportation costs with this free train ride for those who are going home for Christmas and New Year celebrations. Beyond that, what other short-term measures can be implemented to stabilize food prices and perhaps improve food accessibility for mainly low-income households?
Now, if the federal government is looking at transportation and trying to give free rides, okay, short-term measure. Now, what are the subnationals doing? Are they going to be following suit? Are they going to, therefore, look at elements of transportation and see how they can augment and help? How, in the short term, also can we now then say, we haven't raked so much by way of the security measures that needs to have been taken. Okay, all right, so that is a sprint, like I said. But in the short term, can we begin to look at policy measures that have been introduced and policy measures that the subnationals should also key into? Examples at real macro level will be issues surrounding local government autonomy. Can we begin to now put more money within the local governments for them to do the basic things that they need to do because they are nearer the people? Can we begin to look at the social investments at all levels and accelerate them in ways and means to put some disposable income in the hands of the poorest of the poor? Can we begin to now look at this year-to-date period for state governors and the federal to really implement the minimum wage in a way that money is available, maybe for health, for some other things, but then give some other palliatives apart from transportation to help pushing, to help the real impact of this food inflation that we are talking about, and then encourage somebody like you, somebody like me, to do just little farming here and there to at least help with what's.
It does resonate from your submission that we need to have a more holistic, inclusive, and not temporary approach to addressing some of these challenges. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you very much, Felicity. It's a pleasure to be here.
Speaker of Nigeria's House of Representatives has commended the ongoing repair works along several key roads within the Zaria Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. The Speaker, during the inspection of several key projects within the constituency, expressed hope that they will be completed within the next 18 months and will bring significant respite to their communities.
So good We have a lot of projects beginning from 2023 supplementary budget to 2024. And you know we have two budgets. All of them contain some elements of projects for Zaria Federal Constituency. And this is the very first time that I have come in more than 1 year to inspect all the work that have been done. I think what I have seen is quite commendable. The contractors that mobilize for various projects, particularly the road projects, have done very, very well. Because of time constraints, of course, what we have seen is not even up to 10% of the projects that we have on the ground. But from the little I have seen, I think they are doing well.
The people of Tawari community in Patani local government area, Delta State, whose son was appointed Commissioner for Youth Development by Governor Sheriff Aboyewori a few months ago, have called on him to prioritize the needs of Delta youths while implementing the MORE agenda of the state government. A cross-section of them spoke at the homecoming ceremony of the commissioner in the community after his Thanksgiving service at the Mounting of Fire Ministry. Meanwhile, the commissioner, Trakiriowe Thank God, described his appointment as divine and assured Delta youths that the issue of youths' unemployment would soon be a thing of the past across the 25 local government areas of the state.
He needs to work hard. He needs to take people along. He needs to prove himself before the governor that this trust, this confidence you have in me, specifically about the youths, I shall not disappoint you. That is the message.
My message to him is he needs to work more on the MORE agenda so that more youths can be engaged intellectually and physically.
Message to the commissioner, you have to stamp pen and work with everybody, and work with everybody, and work to the governor to make sure say make Patani local government and Tawari community shame. And he have to go straight and as in talk one word now, one word. Carry everybody along.
As a commissioner for youth Delta State, the governor who has the flair to see that the youth in Delta State, they are all empowered through different parastatals. Many has been going on. And I believe by the special grace of God, Delta State has not seen anything. Before this time next year, I know it will be hard for we to see a youth that is not engaged in Delta State, because the MORE agenda is all encompassing to touch the life, the youth.
The ECOWAS Commission has expressed optimism that the Sub-Saharan African Women's Empowerment and Demographic Divided Plus project will help address gender disparities and unlock the potentials of women and girls on the continent. The Vice President of the Commission made this known during the launch of the project in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Correspondent Joshua Marai was at the event and filed this report.
It was the official launch of the Sub-Saharan Africa Women's Empowerment Demographic Dividend Project, also named SWED Plus. The event saw the convergence of high-level stakeholders, including policymakers, development experts, alongside representatives from partner countries. Nigeria's Minister for Health, was speaking during the event, commended the organizers of the project for choosing the country as a venue for launch.
While Nigeria is not yet among the implementing countries for this program, I commend the organizers for choosing our country as a venue for this important launch. Empowering young girls and women is pivotal in addressing population growth and ensuring that we can adequately plan for the future of our continent.
While highlighting the project's impact since its rollout in 2015, representative of the World Bank says that the SWED Plus initiative has impacted the lives of more than 2 million women and girls across participating countries.
At the World Bank, the SWED initiative stands up as a flagship investment for gender equality and are therefore greatly pleased to observe a significant progress achieved by the countries and organizations involved in the project. Since the end of 2014 and launching in 2015, SWED has transformed the lives of more than 2 million women and girls with very positive spillovers in their families and also in their communities.
Other stakeholders present at the launch say it will present a unique opportunity for women and children to thrive in Africa.
The demographic dividend offers a unique opportunity for our region to harness the energy, the creativity, and the capabilities of our young people, particularly our women.
At its core, the SWED is about creating opportunities. Opportunities for girls to attend school, for women to access sexual and reproductive health care, for families to thrive, and for an entire nation to prosper.
With $365 million in funding from the World Bank, experts say the SWED Plus project hopes to focus on some countries, notably Burkina Faso, Chad, the Gambia, Senegal, and Togo. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Still ahead, Kenyan doctors to strike over unfulfilled government promises. That's after the break. Do stay with us. The Kenyan Medical Practitioners, Pharmacist and Dentist Union has announced plans for a nationwide strike, citing the government's failure to honor key agreements related to pay and working conditions. Speaking on Monday, the union described the protest as a means to pressure the government into implementing long-standing commitments, including the collective bargaining agreement signed on 30th June 2017 and the return-to-work formula agreed upon on May 8, 2024. The union expressed frustration over the government's inaction, saying it was negatively affecting doctors' welfare and disrupting health services across both the public and private sectors. This planned strike follows months of similar industrial action from March to May, which ended with government promises of a resolution.
Down the line, the government has implemented 0 of our agreements, but instead they have gone much deeper into violating even the CBA. We have now doctors whose wages have been reduced by over 70% and have been paid a net of 41,000 Kenya shillings from a net of 160,000 shillings. So we are here to dramatize and to tell government that we are ready for action, and come the Sunday 22nd midnight, all the doctors across the country will be out of work. When we get out of work, there will be no going back to work until we have evidence of the issues we agreed implemented, that the doctors whose salary were reduced are actually paid as expected, that the CBA is implemented, and the return to work formula that we agreed, which is a court order, is also implemented. We are here to dramatize the government failure to implement agreements that we had on 8th of May.
The Congolese army lost territory Monday in fighting with Rwanda-backed rebels in eastern DR Congo, a day after a peace summit between the presidents of the two countries was cancelled. Since 2021, the Kigali-backed M23 rebel militia has seized streets of the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo, displacing thousands and triggering a humanitarian crisis. DRC armed forces lost control of Matembe, a town in North Kivu province, after clashes broke out Sunday with the M23. Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi and his Rwandan counterpart, Paul Kagame, were due to meet Sunday, hosted by Angolan President, the African Union mediator, to end the conflict. But the summit was abruptly cancelled after talks between delegations from both sides stalled overnight. Let's head on now to our business desk for today's update.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
In business, John Dramani Mahama, Ghana's president-elect, has vowed to overhaul the cocoa industry and restructure the state-run regulator, Cocoa Board, to boost efficiency and stimulate growth in the country's cocoa sector. In an interview with Reuters, Mahama criticized the current system where Cocoa Board competes with farmers for profit and proposed a restructure that would ensure farmers receive fair compensation. He also hinted at private sector involvement in Cocoa Board's operations. Mahama pointed to wasteful spending at Cocoa Board, which he said has depleted production funds, and stressed that reforms would prioritize farmers' welfare and improve the sector's overall efficiency. And in Mali, Barrick Gold announced it will suspend operations at its Lolo Kunkoto complex in Mali if blocked gold shipments continue. The company cited worsening conditions, including the imprisonment of employees without cause and ongoing disputes with Mali's government over a new mining code. Barrick has been negotiating with authorities for a year but has failed to reach an agreement. The government seeks to apply new mining regulations from 2023 to Barrick's operations, though the company argues the law should not affect existing projects. Barrick also reported that its executives have faced arrests, with an arrest warrant out for CEO Mark Bristow. And moving on, the World Trade Organization has confirmed Cameroon as the venue for its next ministerial conference, scheduled for March 26 to 29, 2026. The event will bring together trade ministers from around the world to discuss updates and new trade rules. Cameroon's ambassador, Salomon Heth, expressed hopes that the conference will highlight the country's potential for investment and sustainable development in Africa. However, the WTO faces significant challenges, including global trade tensions, particularly with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. WTO Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has emphasized the need for a dynamic, outcomes-driven approach to break the current deadlock in negotiations. Finally, global stocks edged lower on Monday, driven by disappointing economic data from China and Europe, alongside rising bond yields that challenged equity valuations. In China, November retail sales grew only 3%, far below expectations of 4.6%, signaling the need for more stimulus. Industrial production met forecast, but house prices continued to decline. China's blue chip index fell 0.5%, following a 2% drop last Friday. Meanwhile, European stocks slipped 0.36% as Eurozone business activity showed contraction in December, though at a slower pace than the previous month. This week, investors are anticipating central bank meetings and key economic data. And that's our offering on business news at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasami-Peter. The news continues shortly.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Let's bring you one of our headliners tonight. Super Eagles and Atlanta forward Ademola Lookman has been crowned the 2024 African Men's Player of the Year after an outstanding season with Serie A side Atalanta, as well as the Nigerian national team. The announcement was made during the 2024 Confederation of African Football Awards held in Marrakesh, Morocco. Powered just hours ago, Lookman's goals powered Atalanta to the Europa League, title, as well as helping the Super Eagles to a runner-up spot at the Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. He succeeds Victor Osimhen as CAF Player of the Year and joins an elite group of 6 Nigerians who have won the prestigious award. Also at the awards, Super Falcons and Paris FC goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie was crowned Women's Goalkeeper of the Year for a 3rd consecutive time, while the Super Falcons were named Women's National Team of the Year, winning back-to-back awards. They edged South Africa and Morocco to the prize. Congratulations to the winners. Let's head over now to our sports desk for the rest of today's update.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
In the world of sport, Harmony Chidi struck tries today for Nigeria's under-17 women team, the Flamingos, who beat Côte d'Ivoire 3-2 to qualify for the semi-final of the WAFU B Under 17 Girls Cup as Group B winners. The Flamingos finished top of the group with 6 points after trashing Niger Republic 9-0 on their opening game. The Ivorians also smashed 5 goals past Niger Republic in Group B. Nigeria will now tackle Benin Republic, who placed second in Group A, while group winners and hosts Ghana will take on Côte d'Ivoire in the other semi-final. The Confederation of African Football has announced that the draw for the 2025 African Cup of Nations will be hosted by Morocco will take place on January 27, 2025. CAF also revealed the tournament will run from December 21, 2025 to January 18, 2026. Matches will be held across 6 venues, including Casablanca's Mohammed V Complex and Rabat's Moli Abdallah Complex. Other host cities are Agadir, Marrakesh, Fez and Tangier. A total of 24 teams have qualified for the competition, with Morocco leading the charge. Finally, in the world of sport, Spartans Flag Football Club retained their Showtime Bowl Series 11 title on Sunday, March 15, 2024, after the defending champions ground out a Hartford 64-53 victory against the Warriors. The Warriors had gone into the final on an 11-game winning streak, coupled with the best defensive record, setting the stage for a tight contest. The first 2 quarters were closely contested. It was all square at halftime, with both teams levelled on 44 points. But the Spartans eventually took the lead by the end of the third quarter and kept up the momentum till the end, walking away with 6 million naira grand prize. And that's it in the world of sport. I am Unyinyechi Obaru.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
This entertainment news.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Tonight on Entertainment News, Nigerian rapper Odumodu Black at the just concluded Entertainment Week Lagos in a tell-all interview with music journalist Joey Akan on the Afrobeats Intelligent Podcast Live went personal with his fans, explaining elements of his branding and also talked about his upcoming album, Industry Machine.
Okay, first of all, I think I'm lucky to be an extremist. What I understand it. If I'm in love, I'm in love. If I'm not in love, I'm not in love. If I say this is the thing I want to do, I will do it, and I'll do it to the end of it. You get what I'm saying? Now, to the caps lock, it was Tyler, the creator, I got that thing from in 2016. I realized that if you are scrolling 20 posts, out of 20 posts, one is the caps lock. Subconsciously, you stop. Your brain is just like people that play football. You cannot nod a ball. You cannot nod the ball with your eyes open. Your eye must close. So subconsciously, you just stop when you see that caps lock. Now, people that are my fans, once they see caps lock, that they don't even know that it's my twist, they stop because they think it's me. I know it has happened to a lot of people. Now, the Industry Machine is my album that is coming next year. I've been promoting that album since last year. Whether I'm saying my mommy is sweet, Joey Akan to like the smoky boo, anything I'm saying, you will see Industry Machine there. So subconsciously, I'm feeding it into your mind, feeding it into your soul. You don't have a choice. This is my billboard that Elon Musk has given me. I go use them till the end of time.
Starting January 1st, 2025, iconic comic characters Popeye and Tintin, both of whom debuted at 1929, will enter the public domain in the United States. This means the original version can be used without permission or royalties. However, later character developments like Popeye's spinach and Tintin's colorful design remain under copyright and may provoke legal disputes. Other notable works entering the public domain include William Faulkner's The Sound and the Fury, Ernest Hemingway's A Farewell to Arms, and Virginia Woolf's feminist essay A Room of One's Own. Early sound films from directors like Alfred Hitchcock, Blackmail, John Ford, The Black Watch, and Cecil B. DeMille, Dynamite, will also be available, alongside music classics like Cole Porter's What Is This Thing Called Love, Fats Weiler's Ain't Misbehaving, and George Gershwin's Rhapsody in the Blue. Additionally, 12 more Mickey Mouse animations, including The Carnival Kid, where Mickey speaks for the first time, will become public domain. That's all on Entertainment Tonight.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Moving away from entertainment, let's take a look at what's trending. American R&B star Chloe Bailey is trending on X after she arrived in Nigeria on Sunday, December 15th, to partake in the highly anticipated Dirty December festivities. The singer and actress was spotted enjoying the vibrant Lagos nightlife alongside Afrobeat superstar Burna Boy. The two were seen having a great time at a popular Lagos club, sparking excitement and conversations among fans online about a possible relationship. Let's read some tweets. At TemtoDT, Chloe doesn't know what she's called onto herself. Let's even take Burna Boy out of the equation. Having Nigerian men in your business because you were seen with one of their faves is the worst thing you can do for yourself. She should ask Justin Sky. At Chubby Diva, is it that Chloe and Haley don't have praying a dad or what? At Ugwana Ejikim, Chloe Bailey's internet sisters from Nigeria are angry she's mixing with Burna. They don't know Chloe personally. They don't know why they're linking up or what their relationship is. Yet, they have strong opinions about who she should meet or shouldn't. I'm entertained. At West Pluto, I want to say something honestly. Is tourism task a bad thing? Plus, don't you people know that these foreigners trooping in benefits the local economy? I'm tired of these tweets. There are some irritants, all right. But why is there outrage that Chloe Bailey has arrived Lagos? That's all on what's trending.
And that's all tonight. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Nigeria Super Eagles winger Ademola Lookman has emerged 2024 African Men's Footballer of the Year. Federal Executive Council has approved 47 trillion naira 2025 budget as President Tinubu's presentation to National Assembly is rescheduled for Wednesday. EFCC has bust online fraud network in Lagos, arrested over 700 suspects, including foreigners. We also brought you news that Kenyan doctors are set to strike over unfulfilled government promises. Remember, you can catch up on all the latest stories by watching News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Good night.